Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all well this less than sunny day, but I'm delighted to be with you all this morning. Just going to hang on a couple of minutes, just so we reach just after 10 o'clock, and we'll make a start. But I'm delighted to be with you all today. Just so you know, please leave me questions that you'd like at any time. There's the Q&A button that you should be seeing, so please participate or just say hello. It's always really nice to know who's with me today. Okay, I think there's quite a few people who've registered, so I'm just going to get up to that magic number that I believe we have with us. And who's here already? Gary Lane, good morning to you, Gary. Paul, good morning, nice to see you. Let me leave that open. Judith, oh, lovely. Judith, ever so supportive, which is fantastic. Oh. Okay. So today, I really did want to try and support everybody in the industry. So I'm very, very conscious that we've all been out of work for the last 3 to 4 months. So I've thought a lot about what would be the most supportive and the most relevant for everybody. And I decided to look at stock and working stock and maximising the performance of stock, because this is relevant to everybody in the supply chain. So it's really important that I think we all work together, which we've seen so much of, which is just fantastic, but that we look to see how we can really maximise as we prepare to go back to work. So let's make a start. So today what I want to do is I want to look at how we increase stock turn. So for example, when I was at Green & Benz and I bought the business, obviously I'd bought it at 2010 and it was a challenging time. Business was laden with a lot of debt and we really needed to work the stock very hard. So I wanted to share that experience with you of what I did to maximise the performance of the stock. So I had a very keen stock strategy. I want to share that with you. Today, I want to look how I applied that stock strategy into stock management, and to also look very timely where we are at the moment and what new opportunities that there will be at this time. So in terms of the strategic stock reports that I used to use, I used 3. First one was a product classification. The next one I want to show you is, it's known as a Boston Stock Matrix, but you'll recognise the formula. It's very simple. And then I also used a supplier turnover report, and especially sharing this via the CMJ. This is all about how we work together with our suppliers. I think the first thing that we have to get right with stock management is stock classification. And I'm aware that people that I'm talking to today will be on all sorts of different systems. So I've tried to make this as generic as possible. But when I joined Green & Benz, the first thing that I did was redesign and reconfigure the stock classification. Now this, I hope, looks very simple. It actually took a lot of work. But on this slide and the next are the 16 to 18 categories I use to classify and to divide the stock. And what I did within each of those classifications was I allocated the brands, the metals and the notes so that everybody understood. If anybody wants this, I've got more detailed notes on it, but it was really trying to work out the best way, as I say, to categorize stock for performance management, but also for stock take as well. So things like engagement rings, they would have been single stones with or without shoulders, but diamond rings with the 3 to 5 stones or the full and half hoop. So we spent a lot of time doing this. But once you get this right, it's really helpful, and it's the basis for good stock analysis across the business. Forgive the fact that this is a photograph of a sheet, but I wanted to show you what I would then do with that information. And that would be that I would analyse by category, both monthly, and I would then denote the percentage change from the previous month. So basically, this now allowed me to analyse trends. And if just, for example, if you look at this report, which of course is now probably 3 years old, what you were starting to see here was the morphing away from some of the brands that we'd got. And this insight, this intelligence, enabled me to quickly decide, for example, when it was time to move away from Sabo. We put it into sale. We noticed that other retailers did so 2 or 3 months later. So it was really important. For those of you that have got multiple stores as well, it allows you to read the business per individual store and see how they may be alike or they may be different. Now we're entering into an unknown period. There'll be all sorts of different changes, different opportunities, different challenges. And I think that we will need to really watch the categories and how they perform, because I think we've got to have an open mind to what will happen. This may look challenging, but I can assure you it's one of the best documents I've ever worked with for stock management. It's really simple. It's a simple graph that covers the market share and the market growth. So basically, you divide all of your stock into the sales percentage and the stock turn. So if you like, it's like the amount of pieces that are selling and the value of which they're selling. Now we used 1% sales and 1% and 1 stock turn, but you can change that. So if you want, you can do a greater amount of sales, a lower stock turn, however you want. And what I would say with everything is we then would change this information, we put it onto, we could lift the information off our stock system onto an Excel report, and then with the right formulas, it would generate and create this. Took a bit of work at the beginning, but once it's up there and once it's out there, it's really simple to maintain. So what does this tell you? It tells you which of your products are the stars. So they've got good sales at good value. So that was a sales over 1% and a stock turnover 1. Your cash cows, or minnows as we called them, they were a low amount of sales, but they were selling a lot. The stock turn was high. The question marks, or the fat kids as we called them, we were carrying a lot of stock. So the stock turn was lower, it was less than 1, but the sales themselves were high, they were over 1%. And the dogs, the dead dogs, less than 1% sales and less than 1% stock turn. So once I had this information, and the category information, I then, of course, from my stock system, had a monthly report of sales turnover by supplier. And from that, I was able to cross-reference and decide, well, which are the stars? Very simple. I need to maintain my investment in sales of those. The cash cows, or the minnows, well, I need to increase my stock turn and my sales of those. So I want to increase my investment. The question marks, well, they may be carrying a lot of stock of those, so we know they're doing well, but you may want to look at your stock holding and maybe think about reducing it. And the dead dogs, remove, get them out, swap them, do whatever. But this information was vital for deciding what my purchasing levels were going to be, what my marketing decisions would be, how I was going to display in the store. But it was really, really important to tie it in with cash management and cash flow. So you could really think about your profitability and how much you had for budgeting decisions. So onto that, I want to now look at how we manage the stock based on that information. Let's start with the easy ones, the dead dogs. Get rid of them, get them out, because every time you're handling them, they're costing you money. So I've put here, get a sale, make it rough and ready, just make it really clear. We at Ainsworth are going to have the smaller window denoted to those products that we've decided are end of line, or which we now strategically know are not performing for us. Don't care what it looks like, we're going to try and move that as much as possible. Because I think what we all need is we need that cash boost as soon as possible. There's other things you can do. We could share it online, we could scrap, we could write it off. We've got these great relationships with our suppliers who we know from the GLNs are keen to work together and to support. So can we swap things out? What can we do? Another thing we found was very useful was actually giving a gift with purchase. If there was something that was a write-off, well, maybe think, do you know what, we'd give that away as a free gift. It certainly engendered a lot of goodwill. So your fat kids, or your question marks, these for me were often the high value pieces that were selling well. So it is your diamond rings, it's your wedding jewelry, it's your bridal pieces, but I was carrying a lot of stock. So what we've got to do here is think about the stock management, but also how we increase the sales. So within those categories, I've looked at, again, the biggest trend that's coming out at the moment, storytelling. So for example, with your wedding rings, it's great if you can to morph this more towards samples. And again, that's what we've been talking about more and more at the GLNs, but try and romance them and try and enhance the value of each particular piece. So, you know, in the storytelling, and I had this on my website, talked about the history of wedding rings, the custom of wearing the ring on the fourth finger on the left hand, and why that was, because it was believed that a vein ran from your finger to your heart. Also, perhaps story tell a little bit more about hallmarking. I'm a guardian of the Sheffield Assay Office, and we really want to celebrate and promote the storytelling and the importance and the reasons why hallmarking exists. There's a lot of support from all of the assay offices around the country to give this information and this guidance as well. But it really does bring something to life for people, because we forget we may know what a hallmark is, but our customers may not, and they really appreciate that story. Platinum, we've got to think about the market cost of gold at the moment. So platinum could be looking at a more favourable investment. It's appreciated for its durability and its performance. And, just to think about that superior strength. So even its expense and value can be celebrated. Sorry, a wry smile, I put here a My Little Pony. This is platinum, but she's not just any platinum, she's Princess Platinum. And I think that just shows us really about the hierarchy, but it shows you some of the fun and the storytelling you can have with platinum. But romance all the metals. Gold, due to its purity and durability, is a symbol of enduring qualities of true love. So we've got these wedding rings. I also have friends who have a gold band, and that signals a friendship that he's had. So it doesn't have to be the romantic love in the sense that we originally think about it. But more and more it's storytelling. And this is a lovely 17th century tradition. It's the posy rings that you see, where it means poetry from the French. And it's literally when there's little rhymes or little lines of a sonnet placed into the rings. And I think, again, that's wonderful storytelling. And we can do that now. Think of all the add-on sales we could get if for every wedding ring we sold, we offered the engraving service as well. But something a bit more fun and a bit more imaginative. I know for a lovely couple, I put two lines of a song that meant so much to them, one in one and one in the other. But you can have pet names or special places or in-jokes. The only thing when I was at Tiffany's that we always said is it had to be clean. But whatever you want to do, I think that this is just a lovely way of making something individual and bespoke and really, really meaningful. But talking about that sentiment and meaning, one of the things I want to do today is to bring to life the secret language of jewellery and the hidden meanings in the symbolism. I think with everything that's going on, we're going to be looking and respecting nature so much more. We've all had time to spend in our gardens, time to reflect and time to listen and learn from the nature and the beauty that's around us. And I think the lesson is we have to hear nature more and respect it. So at the time of the late 19th century, this was a great period of learning. And you often see nature and flowers and fauna in jewellery because they were learning so much at that time. So I think we're going to see a revival of this. So this is a wonderful tradition. This is the ivy is the symbol of fidelity in marriage, because ivy, as we know, it clings to whatever environment it's in and it grows and it thrives. Its leaves are even green in winter. So it's a wonderful symbol of the enduring qualities of love. And that's why you'd often see a bride would have a sprig of ivy in her bouquet. So that's the historic representation of it. But I was lucky to work with Ungar and Ungar, who do this beautiful range of ivy jewellery. And we had these ivy rings, which make a great eternity ring or a great alternative to a wedding ring. And these pendants and earrings made lovely wedding gifts. So that's maybe something you want to think about to tie in the storytelling. But again, a lot of the storytelling, we're going to have to make the stock work harder. So for a lot of us that are holding a lot of diamond stock, how are we going to sell that more? Well, I think that's about associating the diamonds with the love and the meaning and how precious they are. Remember, diamond is the ultimate of a gemstone, rare, durable, and beautiful. But we have these other associations: its strength, its transparency, its sparkle, its reflection, hardness, toughness. All of those perhaps make a great social media post. You can illustrate each one of those phenomenons with a particular piece of jewellery that you're holding in stock. But romance the jewellery, and it's not enough to just put a single stone diamond in the window and hope that it sells. I think we've got to make it far more relevant and think about how it can perform better. Talking about relevance, this is just so clever, and I think it's something we can all learn from today. In 2000, and I was there at the time, Tiffany rebranded their eternity rings, their stacking rings, as celebration rings. The sales of their coloured and diamond rings trebled. The stock was no different, the demand was no different, but the storytelling and the positioning changed, and it was sensational. So what's this about? Well, I've shown you mine. You can see them. I wear these 3 stacking bands that mean so much to me. I've bought them at 3 different occasions. 2 of them are old. One of them is an Ungar and Ungar ring that completes the set. But it's about, they represent so many different times in my life. Well, we've just had a significant time in all of our lives, and it's a celebration that perhaps we're coming out of it. It's a new beginning, or there's 60,000 people whose weddings didn't go ahead this summer. So maybe that's a fantastic new market as well. So there's so many opportunities here for storytelling. You can get 2 matching bands and put them either side of an existing dress ring, for example. So it's also a sign that it's a ring for women who don't have to wait for a man to buy them a piece of jewellery. They may want to celebrate some of their own achievements as well. So think about that in how you might want to redisplay, or how you might to sell or advertise. In planning the store that I'm involved with, Ainsworth, I'm planning to ensure that the display and the visual merchandise is completely different. I don't want to plan it in terms of stock. I want to plan it in terms of marketing, occasion, meaning, and how we're going to connect with each person. So now let's think about those minnows, those stock pieces that are turning very, very well, but they don't represent a lot of the value. Well, these are your cash cows. You've got to milk them. And I want to tie this into the biggest trend that we know that's coming out in a post-COVID environment, and that is stories and sentiment. Following up on Rainbow Gems, I'm directing you here to a fantastic article that was all about high-end couture jumping on this trend, this celebration for beautiful colours and for the rainbow, because it was worldwide. Children around the world displayed these rainbows as a wonderful symbol of hope. And I think really we're all going to have to embrace this colour, this happiness, this passion, this celebration. And here you can see some beautiful couture or diamond examples from around the world. But Nottingia have done some wonderful work on showing the flowers and their stock in these amazing colours. Mark Milton, a beautiful bracelet, retails above or below 6,000 depending on the setting, but then more price accessible, these necklaces about £200 or £300. But you know, they're just the same as the designer versions, and I think they make me happy looking at them, and I really want to celebrate and embrace more coloured stones. And thanks to Hannah Buckle, she's put together these wonderful collections of collateral, which are all for the retailers. And here it shows you how to mix and match and share various colours of the rainbow, some lovely pieces there, Angel Whisperer, Fei Lu, and other designers, but some general pieces that you can use. So you can use this for social media, you can use this in store, you can use this to advertise. So it's all there, and it's all been created free of charge by Hannah via the CMJ. I think this is fantastic. She's then broken it into the spectral colours of the rainbow. So we've got reds, we've got some colour therapy, some passion, rubies, some star signs, some beautiful green examples here, and indigo as well. So they're available. Please get in touch with the CMJ. We'll direct you to those. But thank you to the following: to Andrew, Angel Whisperer, Corona, MDCO, Faye, Mark Milton, Nottingia, Jacinto, Tivan, and Ungar, because you spent your time sending these on for the benefit of the retailers, and it's really gratefully received. Thank you. But I want to explore also birthstones. I think, again, this is going to be an incredibly good storytelling opportunity. So it covers, birthstones cover fine jewellery and fashion jewellery as well. There are different symbols and different meanings for all of them, so it's great to get to grips with all of them. Sometimes there's more than one gemstone for each month. But what can you do with them? There's simple things, such as on your wedding ring. You can maybe take the example from Roberto Coin. He always has a little ruby. You can see in the bottom right as you're looking at it, that ring with the ruby in the inside. Why not put a little birthstone inside there? You know, your 2 different birthstones, and then it's on the inside, so it's only touching your skin and only you know about it. We looked at those celebration rings. We could use different stacking rings for different members of your family that come together, or you and your loved one. But we've got to look at new opportunities for commitment. Quite often couples move in together before they get engaged. So why not have a new home collection and partnership arrangement, or my almost wedding? I've decided that's a great excuse for a new piece of jewellery for me. But you can use this in interlocking hearts together. There's so many different ways, or silver pieces here, but it's a wonderful way to really connect with people. And look at the work Nottingia have done. they've got this fantastic birthstone collection, but they've worked so hard at how this might connect with different people. So they've created these postcards, which are going to be, you're going to be able to send those out to your customers or use this advertising in store. They've linked it to colour therapy. They've linked it to the flowers of the month. They've linked it to all different beautiful images. And this is how a real great sales tool, this, for the retailers or for each sales professional, because they can think then about the personalities of that star sign and the people that they're buying for. So you can really bring the sales experience to life. And that's the collection. And just wanted to show you there the Moonstone, which is ready for June. But again, like most of the suppliers, they're being really supportive, helping with payment terms. So there's a lot of support to get this message out. So whether it be Moonstone, I want to give you a couple of bits of support on pearls, because, you know, maybe that's something you can be thinking about for this 5th month ahead, and use all sorts. There's so many wonderful collateral about pearls. You've got some great famous people, Grace Kelly, Coco Chanel, Jackie Kennedy, always loved pearls. So I favour pearls on screen and in my private life. The world is your oyster, you are the pearl. When I was at school, we had a fabulous teacher, and we lived for the day when we were the pearl on his dung heap. So pearls always have that different association for me. But they are the typical adornment of the goddess of Venus, who's the goddess of love. So they have that wonderful association. They look great with diamonds and coloured stones. You've got associations with the moon and water. They're deemed to be the tears of God, but they're strongly feminine and very much associated with wedding and bridal jewellery. So although the ceremony may be on hold at the moment, it's very much on people's minds. So I think this is something that you can really embrace. This was hugely successful, and forgive me if I've shared it with you before and you've seen it again, but it's so relevant. So for every customer at Green & Benz that bought a piece of wedding or engagement jewellery from us, we would offer them some of our jewellery to be their loaned gift, or as we romanced it, their something borrowed. These are various pieces from Ungar and Ungar or Feilu, so it could be silver, it could be fine, but it meant that their something borrowed was something they could never in their wildest dreams perhaps afford at that occasion. But it would also inspire the groom to think, maybe I'll treat her to that later on. But so many people took photographs and it became a conversation piece. So if you want some positive word of mouth endorsements, I'd really strongly recommend this. And I just loved it because it meant I was there for people and I could give them something that they may never have. And that is a lovely photograph of one of our customers at Green & Benz. A minnow was something that's going to be very important. I'm sure, like, as a lot of you saw this before COVID, there's a massive increase in religious and protective jewellery. So regardless of your faith, please embrace whatever the symbols are and have a look. The cross related to Christianity, the crucifix below is more Catholic, but you've also got St. Christopher's as well. You've got the Star of David for the Jewish faith. So they're not going to be big sales in terms of value, but these and lockets, I know, is a basics that we're checking at the moment we have in stock because we're anticipating a high turn of them and we're going to do a really nice display of them. So on that note, what I now want to do is I want to explain, because a lot of people tell me they really like it when they find this out. I want to give you the kind of the symbolism and some hidden language in jewellery. And the idea of this is these new stories that can come out. And it's thinking about how you may want to market your existing stock and how you may want to display. So classic motifs and themes, the heart. It is a decorative piece as well as a symbol of love. It's romantic, it's family, it's friendship. It covers, we can all buy each other heart. It doesn't have to denote passionate love. But the heart can tell many stories. As I've tried to show you from here, from left to right, it's broken or it comes together with two people. It's anatomically correct. It's entwined with somebody. It's complete and full of diamonds. The turquoise, forget-me-not, it's thinking about somebody. It's being mended. And then in the bigger and the lower, smaller heart, mother and daughter. And two hearts surmounted by a bow, single entwined love. But bows and knots are a metaphor. They are tied easily, but are stronger than the material from which they are made. And what a great metaphor and message for us at the moment. And a great thing, this could be friendship, this could be any symbol of jewellery. So I'm thinking of taking these motifs and using the branded cover, the colours, for example, of Ainsworth, and putting these on the display, and then putting a whole series of friendship jewellery together, or gifts, however, but embracing this meaning. Other ones you may not know about: the horseshoe you will, good luck when pointing up; wings, protection from evil, or the wings of love; angel wings, we've got angel whisperer there; snakes, eternal love, especially when biting their tails; and a clasp hand is a marriage seal, or the hand of lovers. You see that a lot in period jewellery. The phoenix regenerates itself from fire and ashes, and therefore is a symbol of love revived. Hopefully we're all going to be phoenix, rising up from the ashes being shut for a few weeks. Cupid, the son of Mercury, is often seen armed with a bow. So I plan to put the engagement jewellery with a picture of Cupid sort of on brand. And I think that will reach out far more than just putting diamond collection written up there. An arrow is a target representing Cupid's dart. And then you've also got these target rings, these circles symbolises being the victim of passionate love. You can add on to that by putting your birthstones in there. So that would be sapphire for September and April for diamonds. But, you know, you can mix those or make those bespoke. And what a lovely idea for a beautiful bespoke, you know, fine jewellery piece. I mentioned it before, but how important nature is, and listening to nature out there. And these symbols will come back, and we'll see more desire and demand for pieces displaying flora and fauna and animals. So butterflies is a symbol of goddess of soul and all higher emotions, including love. A strange one, the salamander, is the Roman symbol of wedded bliss. It's because its tail grows back and it thrives in fire. So it's therefore the symbol of passionate love. But butterflies are very beautiful. Again, you've got some very price accessible ones shown there with an important antique one. But however we do, it's a lovely symbol. And flowers, you saw of Nottingia, they've taken each flower of the month and talked about its symbolism and its beauty, and you could yourself display those flowers in the store, but learn what they all mean. Flowers, forget-me-nots, is an enduring of love in separation. And of course, that is associated with the turquoise and that beautiful colour of remembrance. Daisies, purity, laurel, triumph of love; blossom, hope. All these wonderful symbols that are really, really nice. And you saw with Nottingia as well, they've done a rainbow on each of those flowers. That could be something that they're developing too. Music. If music be the food of love, then play on. Again, this is nice if I don't know if there's many pieces at the moment, but I just wanted to include it because it's something that you personally like, and maybe you could make a story of that, or you could link it to the music that you're playing in the stores. So, but musical instrument is a symbol of harmony. Stars, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I've given you all the information on the number of points on a star and what they mean. Because stars are always associated with awe and wonder and the symbol of divine guidance and protection. I think we all need a little bit of that at the moment. So although they can see from these last two slides, they have many different meanings over many different religions, which I love. So they can have many different meanings throughout history. They are an enduring symbol of excellence and reward, such as you are a star or reach for the star. So I know that we've gifted that a lot for special occasions for people. And you've got shooting stars rising up the ear here, star pendants and stars together. And let's not forget the moon. We've had so many clear nights and we've been watching the moon quite a bit. And it represents immortality and eternity, healing and energy. So a waning moon symbols letting go, and a crescent moon is a new beginning and a fresh start. And I think that's really what we've got to go and hope for when we go back. Because as we start, it just shows you how everything in life is a revolution and an evolution. And I've put this slide up, which is my real passion, which is ancient Egyptian jewellery. And you can see that this is just where we are today. Amulets, they may be carried, they may be necklace, bracelet, piece all over. Were used so much by every walk of life in Egyptian culture. So some of them, they would embrace the properties of the particular animal or symbol that they were denoting. So you've got, if the crocodile with which they were afraid of, they embraced that as a symbol of protection. So it's wonderful that things that we don't like and we're all going to feel uncertain at the moment, we can turn them around and feel immune against them. And the scarab is the best one, is regeneration or rebirth. So as we go into this new rebirth, it is again about, I wanted to look at the non-stock opportunities, because how can you give new life to pieces of jewellery that you don't own but your customers come in with? And this is, again, if you like, the last piece of stock to think about. Is all the jewellery that is sitting at home with our clients who maybe can't afford a new piece, or maybe want to bring it to life, or they may have inherited it. And we have to embrace bereavement jewellery and the opportunities, and how we will sensitively handle that with people coming into the store, more so than ever. This was just a simple thing. Actually, the remodel was the one on the left, but this was a tired, heavy old diamond ring. Came into us. We put it in a classic 6-claw setting. My God, did this diamond perform and sparkle? So there's remounts very, very simply. But I want to very much think about at the moment, and it's very timely, and it was very appropriate that we saw the Queen wearing, for one of her speeches, a turquoise and diamond brooch. The turquoise is the colour of forget-me-not. It's the colour of remembrance, and it stands for true love. It really has symbols and associations of protection, healing, wisdom, and immortality. The Queen, very astute in how she dresses, it was no surprise that she wore it at that time. And she was showing the symbolic power and messaging that jewellery can really deliver. So please don't be afraid of memorial jewellery and celebrating a life with precious stones and all sorts of symbols. Now more than ever, we may have people that we could offer a very sensitive service to those that have lost their loved ones, and how can we support with the wonderful gift of jewellery. Jewellery we've worn since the dawn of time, and it matters so much to us. A simple little thing. Arranging, and this is so symbolic, but a clever arrangement of coloured stones with the initial letter of which spells a term of endearment. This is acrostic jewellery. But what I've done is I've given you there every letter of the alphabet with a gemstone. You've seen some traditional examples, but some contemporary ones as well. But how might you use that? Again, it's a powerful message to tell stories. I'm going to end there now on the stories of symbolisms of jewellery, but I want to signpost you to the next webinar that I'll be doing, and that's going to be on the 24th of June, because there's a lot of movement and interest happening at the moment in the world of laboratory grown diamonds and also natural diamonds as well. You've seen that the Diamond Producers Association have renamed themselves as the Natural Diamond Council. So I want to share this with you. But I'm also passionately believing that we have to tell the true stories of the reality and opportunities of laboratory grown diamonds. I'm working with Swarovski, Terrier Silber, and others as well. And during this time, I've been spending a lot of time in lockdown researching, and it's important that we get some credible and honest information out there. So I'll be presenting this webinar in association, as I say, with Swarovski and others, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I hope you will join me then. Right, everybody, let's move on to some questions. Let's see who we've got. So, just good morning. Well, that's very, very nice. Thank you very much. Oh no, here's Harriet. Harriet, thank you. You continue to inspire me every moment. Thank you. You've also thrown me back to my uni days with the Boston Matrix. Yeah, sorry about the science on that one, but as I say, I think it is worth using. I think it is. It's a great resource. So if you can get your head around it, and it does spend some time, but it's really, really useful. So guys, I'm going to end there and just say thank you so much for joining me. It's lovely to be involved in these, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye.